But let's go ahead and get started. Can you hear me, Jayme?
Yes, I can.
Okay, great. Okay, thank you everyone for joining us today. My name's Amber. I'm the agency owner for Live Free Virtual Services, and this month's topic is stress is success. So we brought on a special guest, Jayme, and she's going to give us her experience and her knowledge on ways to manage negative emotions positively. I'm going to let you go ahead and just introduce yourself first and tell a little bit about your history, and then we'll get started.
Sounds perfect. First of all, guys, I'm going to warn you, I have a lot of energy. So if you didn't have your coffee yet, you get me. So my name is Coach Jayme. I am a mindset transformation coach, certified life coach, and NLP practitioner. I specialize in one-on-one coaching with two specific identities that I like to refer to as the workaholic and the strong friend. I also do presentations, group workshops on productivity, boundaries, communications, you name it, all of the fun stuff that people pretend they know and they put a lot of energy into, but kind of miss the mark because we all know that life gets really busy, right? And I also run in-person wellness retreats. So that's kind of who I am in a nutshell. And so when Amber reached out to me, I was extremely honored because everything, stress and anxiety, guys, I mean, it's the world we live in. Like, yes, everything is going on all of the time. So if somebody tells me they don't have stress or they're not dealing with anxiety, they're liars. So yeah, that's me in a nutshell.
Thank you. Thank you for that introduction. Yes, I love your energy, and that is why I'm so excited for everyone to hear from you. So, okay, let's start with telling us what your version is of toxic positivity. Can you help us understand what that means?
Absolutely. So this is a very near and dear topic for me, and I like to speak a little bit more in story, just I think it's a little bit more entertaining than just having a full-blown presentation of bullet points and things of that nature. But for me personally, I grew up and I was a very negative soul. I was angry, I was bitter, and it was exhausting because, like, also even when I was younger, I had just as much energy. And so I was cheerleader, I was a coach of some sort with like gymnastics and around little kids. So I was hyped all the time. Like, this was me to everybody, but to my family and behind the scenes, I was ruthless. I was nasty. It was exhausting. And I just wanted to sleep and not be around people. And as I started to grow through life, I met a lot of individuals who were so positive all the time. And I loved that. But at some point, I even got to a point where I was like, this has got to be fake. Like, it is impossible to be this happy all the time. And I almost started to like second guess, like, me becoming more positive as I had grown through a lot of my negativity and bitterness. And I started questioning those individuals. And what I now have found along my journey and who it is that I coach is it truly is impossible to be happy all the time. And toxic positivity, where this comes in, we live in a world where it's getting thrown down your throat on social media of, you've got to speak affirmations and gratitude and, oh my gosh, life is fantastic because I choose for it to be fantastic. Great practices to have. But where that becomes toxic, and I'm a quote fanatic, we need water to survive, but water can also kill us. And if we go to the extreme now where we are faking that everything is okay, that's like putting duct tape on a broken chair. It's only going to help the broken leg for so long. At some point, you got to figure out a way to fix the chair because the tape ain't going to do it. And so that, to me, is how I would describe toxic positivity. It's the way that we show up and we pretend to be okay, and we actually push down and avoid what's going on behind the scenes. And why that's so toxic is, yes, some examples of this, right? Feel guilty for feeling guilty. Like, what? I shouldn't be complaining about money because there's some people who can't even afford to live in a home. I shouldn't be complaining about this, the way that my body looks, because there's people that they can't even walk without having, a wheelchair. Like, we downplay our own emotions that is a very good indicator that you are falling into that toxic positivity trap.
Okay.
Ignoring the problem, running from the problem, pretending everything is okay, or if somebody even dismisses your emotions when you try to share them, this is something to know for other people you're around is, oh, well, things could be so much worse. Let me hype you up. This is why you should be happy. Well, no, because your feelings matter. So
Become a
all of
normal,
that to be
correct?
said,
Like
yes,
pushing that
yes,
all in and down and creating that positive image outward, but not recognizing all of the struggles that we all have daily is kind
yes.
of the norm. Like it's just expected.
And there have been so many like studies that medically, this is why people even develop
Mhm.
cancer or why they have midlife crisis moments. And all of this is because they're suppressing these emotions and the stress has nowhere to go. Like you're just bottling it up and it's just sitting here waiting to erupt. And that's not good either. And that's why, again, going back to the whole, we need water to survive, but water can also kill us. We have to learn how to find the balance of both worlds where we don't let the negativity consume us either. But that doesn't mean you should avoid it. Like even before COVID made masks,
Right.
and that is who we truly are. And if we aren't showing up with who we truly are, that is exhausting.
Kind of exhausting both ways, right?
Yes, yes,
Okay,
absolutely.
okay. So me being the one that works with all the business owners, right? Like my focus is really business owners, their businesses. Like, how do you feel like that has affected them and how they run their business? What have you seen?
So many of times I've seen that again, the culture of the world that we live in is there's all of these posts on social media that you got to be waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning and you need to be grinding and working super hard because if you're not hustling, you're not going to make it in your business. So
Right.
people put on this fake just persona of everything is good because as a business owner, when you're out at the grocery store, at a restaurant, at your church, at the gym, you are your brand.
Right.
So people show up like everything is okay all of the time and they're stressed and they don't want to diminish. Oh no, did your screen go crazy? My screen just went crazy.
Nope.
We
You're
good?
still good.
Oh, okay, good. I just got nervous. But is we start to really like push down the stress of it because we don't want people to know that there are struggles with our business. Because if there's struggles with our business, why would people want to come purchase something from our business? So now we're faking that all is good and we're
Mhm.
stressing out because we don't know how to offset it and it's overwhelming us and then we're not feeling like we're doing enough. And clearly, as I'm saying all this, like that is exhausting. And if you don't have gas in your car can't run. If you don't have
It's
gas in
true.
yourself because you're so exhausted, your business is not going to run very well either.
No, you're right, 100%. And I completely resonate with that. Like it's an image, and when you're a business owner, I feel like it's even more pressure, right?
Yes, yes. And even people who maybe aren't as in tune with their self-awareness or just
Mhm.
recognizing the environment that we're in, you can tell like the vibe of other people. So like if you are a business owner that has employees, if they can tell that you are crazy frazzled, it's either going to make your employees think that you're too intimidating to talk to because you have too much going on and you're an idiot for asking this question. Or I can't tell you about my problems because you already look like a whack job. I don't want to add more to your plate. So that can now impact the environment because other people are feeling just as unstable as what you actually are feeling inside, even if you are voicing out that all is okay.
No, I agree. And the reason I kind of giggle is because I felt myself this morning when I was sending messages to my team, and they could tell that there was like anxiety. I had a lot on my plate. I was thinking about it one time, right? You have the kids, you have trying to get to places, trying to do things, you have a webinar, you're trying to get to your clients, and like my mind was just, and I didn't know that it was, you could see it outwards. but it was brought to my attention you could, right? It does, and it affects other people.
Yes.
So, okay, share with me. I know, it's okay to not be okay. In fact, it's normal, right? That's so true. But can you give me some like basic tips on how to deal with this and in a way that it works for both? I mean, for other people, for yourself, because I mean, as a business owner, you don't want to come across that you're stressed out and you're working, but in reality, a lot of them are, right? A lot of business owners are working a lot of hours and doing a lot. So how do we do this in a productive way?
Ooh, see right there. I want to. The busy bee in you. How can I still be productive but feel my feelings? That's
Right?
kind of a contradicting statement right there. So my first and foremost tip that I want to share is you have, I told you I like a lot of quotes. It's not that we won't have time, or it's not that we don't have time, it's that we won't make time. And this is something that you have to make a priority to put time on your schedule for. You working 22 of 24 hours isn't the most productive thing you could be doing. I think Abe Lincoln quoted, like, when it comes to chopping down a tree, you can exert all of your energy spending 14 hours with a dull axe chopping away at a tree, or you can sit the first 10 to 12 hours and sharpen your axe, and actually only spending 2 of those hours with a sharper knife and chopping down that tree, right? So we can't be running on fumes all the time. So I think first and foremost, the biggest tip that I can ever give anybody, and I do give everybody that I meet, put time on your schedule daily for you. Yes, you have kids. Yes, you have your job. Yes, you have other areas you're pouring into. You need to, and you deserve to, and everybody else deserves for you to take space to process what the F is going on. Because if you are crazy overwhelmed, think of a deer in the headlights.
Right.
They freak out, they stop because they see these bright lights and they get hit because they got scared. So if you're freaking out and you're running and overwhelmed all the time, you're not going to make the most effective decisions that you could. So first and foremost, tip 1, make time to actually process what is going on, what you're thinking and what you're feeling for you and nobody else. That would be the first tip. Second tip, especially with those that you work alongside of, I'm a big believer in open communication. No, people don't need to know the ins and outs of everything that's going on, but I mean, just think about with an intimate relationship. You want trust, you want communication, you want everybody to be on the same page. And I think that as a leader, you don't have to put yourself above everybody and they're beneath you and you're looking on them. Be all at the same level. You're a team and they can equally add value to you as you do to them. If you humble yourself that, like, listen, I don't have it all together all the time. So I want to be real with you guys, because now they're going to be like, holy cow, they're human too. I have more respect for them. I now want to work harder for them. But now I also know that they have my back and I go to them with my problems because they know I'm not judging them for theirs. So those would be my 2.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Do you have anything else that you wanted to add, to share before we go?
I do see that there is a question in there, but or that got put, so I can answer that. But first, I guess just again, the biggest thing is we need to slow down. Like, this world is always moving.
Right.
And whether we're here to do the job or not, there's always going to be another thing that needs to be checked off a to-do list. And you are more than a to-do list. And I promise you the world will be okay if you stop and shut out for an hour, for 30 minutes every day, just to sit and actually like feel what you're doing it for, why you're feeling that way, how you can change it, what got you to that place. You deserve to make that time. So that would, I guess, be like my final point that I just want to mention with that.
Oh, that resonates with me. right? I don't know how everyone else feels, but a lot of that I feel is speaking to me, right? Take my breaks, take a moment, take care of myself first. We say that, right? We need to take care of ourselves before we can take care of our kids. Same thing, right?
Yes,
We have to be in
yes,
the right place. We have some
absolutely.
questions.
Yes. Okay, looks like, what if your coworker or your boss is the toxic positive person? One of the senior leaders in my day job insists that we should never use negative words to describe what we're facing at work, but sometimes there's no other way to say it but to call a spade a spade. And we end up having doubts about whether we should tell him about what the problem really is. What would be the best approach to a person like this and open it up? Ooh,
Mm,
that's a good one. That's a good one. I think a really great approach is to ask questions. Um, being curious and being able to feel and see where somebody really is can take the pressure off of it being like an attack, especially as if there's multiple, of you coworkers that are recognizing that it's this boss that's doing it. If you guys all huddle up together, this person is now going to be backed into a corner, which may make them even more so lash out on why it's a negative thing. So
right.
maybe in general is just getting more curious and just like a super simple thing, even like when somebody says, "How are you doing?" I'm fine. It's the BS and like answer to get to the next thing. No, but really, how are you doing? Like getting to know one another and having a little bit more intimate of a conversation that doesn't have to be super invasive, but just letting humans be human, and not having to approach everything kind of as you had mentioned earlier about like, how do I productively process my emotions? Emotions are they're what they want to be, right? Just like the weather.
Right.
Like I can't be like, how can I productively tell the rain that I have an outside event between 3 and 4? So if you could hold off, I'd
I
appreciate it. We
Yes,
can't
I
do
need
that,
that to
right?
stop.
Right, right. So maybe just even in general, asking more questions and being curious as to what's really going on. And it's, you obviously can't control the other person. And so maybe even in that same scenario is finding healthy outlets on how you can still process your emotions, on how to best manage working alongside somebody who is dealing with the toxic positivity. Because
Like how
obviously you
you
don't want to ever
pointed
give
out.
unsolicited advice, so it's like, okay, if I feel like I'm not safe to express fully what I'm feeling with this boss, who are people that I can go to that is safe for me to process these emotions in a healthy way? So one of those two ways is what I would suggest. I hope that's helpful.
So is there somebody else that you can go to, right? It's pretty much
Right,
what you're saying, that you can
right,
share this with and come up with a strategy to make it work for everyone.
right. Looks like
Thank
there's
you.
another one. Choose a job you love and you will never have to work a day in your life, Confucius once said. Do you think it is 100% applicable to everyone, or is it a toxic positivity mindset?
Well,
Um, so for me, I think, again, I got another quote for you guys. I had once heard, words are just an imperfect way to describe something. And we have gotten very good at overusing words where the novelty wears off. Um, like trying to think a super simple one, at least for me it is. If somebody has a binge eating disorder or they binge drink, that is a medical condition with the intensity of overly doing something excessively. But look at how many times people throw it around like, well, I binged on Netflix last night. Like we downplay what some of these words really mean. And so choose a job you love and you will never have to work a day in your life. We are working every day, whether it's we're getting paid for it or not. I am working when I'm working out in the gym. I am working when I'm having hard conversations with people in my life. I'm working when I walk my dog outside to take him to the bathroom. Like,
right.
I wouldn't necessarily put that as like a toxic positivity mindset rather than, I guess, how you're choosing to define what that work looks like in your life, if that makes sense. I know that was a very, okay, Denson, I think you're picking up what I'm putting down. But yeah, is that, because even another one, I'm literally dying because I'm laughing so hard. No, if I was literally dying, like I wouldn't be breathing because I'm about to die, right? So we over exaggerate some words, but we under exaggerate some words. So we're not going to love life every second of every day.
No matter what you're doing.
Right. So whether it's work or not, but that doesn't mean you don't love your life just because there's there's certain emotions or situations in there that don't fully fit it. And I guess that actually will go to my final point on this, is that ties in very well with toxic positivity. We give too much power to whether an emotion is bad or good. Like, it's not bad if I get sad. It's not bad if I get scared or angry. It's my body's way of triggering and letting me know, like, hey, something doesn't feel right here. Now, it may be bad how we choose to respond to that emotion, but the emotion is there to protect us at the end of it all. So I think that's the other part, is recognizing that too, is that just because you're angry, that's not a bad thing. But what about that made you angry? That's, again, going back to tip 1 on sitting with your emotions. Why was I so triggered by this comment? Was it really because this person was being toxic or this situation was catastrophic? Or was it me that maybe was already coming in with a chip on my shoulder and I was super irritable, and that's why I'm angry that I now have to take on this task? Like, sitting with the emotion for what it is instead of whether it's a bad or good one.
I love that.
I hope
Thank
that
you.
was helpful.
It was great. Thank you so much, Jayme, for coming in and sharing all of your knowledge with us. As always, I love all the energy and information that you provide. I do want to share that if anyone wants to contact Jayme, I will send out all of her contact information as well. That'll go along with this. Thank you so much for coming on and talking with us today. And as always, I love seeing you.
Oh, I love seeing you too. Thank you for letting me be here, guys. And yes, thank you. If you want, feel free to cyberstalk away. I always post some form of hype or motivation or tip and trick on all my social media. So cyberstalk away if you ever want to feel good.
All right. Love it. I love it. All right. Thank you, Jayme.
Great.
Hey, have a great day.
Yep, you too. Bye.